welcome to Unews for Thursday, March 5th. I'm Andrea Linares. We begin with the latest on the coronavirus. The illness continues to spread rapidly in the U.S. As authorities in different states take precautions, many companies asking employees to avoid travel and work from home if possible. This as the testing process gets faster and stores run out of supplies. Lorraine Cáceres has the latest.
In Washington, 3 counties have cases. Tennessee reported its first case today, and the U.S. Department of Education has a special team monitoring the situation closely, ready to close schools as necessary. Back to you, Andrea.
Thank you, Lorraine, for that report. As the number of cases and deaths from the novel coronavirus increase, as fears of a pandemic continue to rise, the prospect of supply shortages right here in the U.S. are making some rush to stock up on supplies, creating a sense of urgency that's prompting some stores to start rationing how much you can actually purchase. Carolina Sarasa has much more. And joining me now to discuss the growing outbreak is Dr. Jose Gonzalez Zamora. He's an assistant professor of clinical medicine at the University of Miami's Infectious Diseases Division. Senate Republicans are sharpening their investigations involving former Vice President Joe Biden and his son's work at a Ukrainian energy company, just as the former vice president surges in the Democratic presidential race and reemerges as a front runner for his party's nomination. And also developing today, Senator Elizabeth Warren announced she's ending her presidential campaign. Let's watch. Warren has not endorsed Sanders or Biden, but she did speak with both candidates on Wednesday. She is said to be assessing who would best uphold her agenda, but so far she has said she will not make any announcement today because she wants more time to think about it. And now changing topics, the search for survivors continues after those deadly tornadoes that hit Tennessee earlier this week. We now know one of them was an EF4 with winds reaching 175 miles per hour. Rafael Rodriguez has those details. Coming up next, a sanctuary city demonstration. President Trump saying the government will withhold funding from so-called sanctuary cities. This comes after a federal court ruling last week. Janet Rodriguez joins me live from Washington, D.C. Janet, overall, what does all this mean?
Well, Andrea, overall, we don't know really yet what it means. We have been contacting attorney generals throughout the country from sanctuary cities, and they don't understand whether these funds will be withheld immediately or what the order from DOJ will mean for those communities across the country. We did hear from the attorney general from California, who says that he will follow the law and not the president's tweet when it comes to withholding of money for sanctuary cities. And we say the president's tweet because he made that announcement in Twitter this morning saying, and I quote, across the country, so that money could be taken away. We do understand that some of the attorney generals from the state who have been involved in the legal battle with the federal government are already saying that they will continue this battle and hope to take it to the Supreme Court and ultimately have the Supreme Court decide who has the right to take away the funds and if the federal government has that right, as this court has now ruled. But for now, we don't really understand what it will mean for those states right away, whether those funds will be taken tomorrow or not. We're still trying to figure that out, as the court did not say that these funds will have to be taken away immediately. Back to you.
Thanks so much, Janet Rodriguez, for that information live in Washington, D.C. And almost 20 states are taking the Trump administration to court over one of the president's most famous and controversial pet projects, his border wall. They say the way the government is trying to finance it is illegal. Pablo Gatto explains. Supreme Court ruling says that states can prosecute undocumented immigrants for identity theft. This comes after 3 undocumented people in Kansas used falsified documents for employment. As Fabiola Galindo explains, the decision could now open the door for states to take what could be construed as immigration actions previously reserved for federal authorities. President Trump highlighted the economic gains of Latinos from his policies during a speech to business leaders on Wednesday as he continues his aggressive outreach to minority voters. Let's go ahead and listen to what he had to say. Still favor Democrats, the president received 30% support from Hispanics in a Pew Research Center poll last month. And in other news out of our nation's capital, the Department of Education will continue to allow in Utah. An incident at a middle school is drawing attention. It all all started after a student said she was forced to dance with a boy who makes her feel uncomfortable. She claims her school principal told her she was not allowed to say no. Mariti Marangi has more on this controversy. Up next, after months of a fine ordeal for a teenager in Virginia after getting her hair stuck in the engine of a go-kart at an amusement park, the 16-year-old is now opening up about this horrifying experience. Ricardo Arambari has more. Up next, find out why the Mexican government froze bank accounts tied to La Luz del Mundo Church, as our own Atsiri Cardenas exclusively reported for Univision News last August. But there are new details. According to authorities, the money in those accounts was allegedly obtained through human trafficking and child pornography. This new revelation coming a day before the church's leader returns to a California court where he's facing multiple sexual abuse charges. Nidia Cavazos has more. When we come back, a major auto recall to let's go to Lorraine Cáceres. She has a preview of stories we are tracking for the second hour of News. Lorraine, what do you have for us?
Thank you, Andrea. As the coronavirus outbreak here in the U.S. continues to grow, we're tracking the situation on board a cruise ship off the coast of San Francisco. 2,500 passengers currently being airlifted, medical supplies and testing kits by the Coast Guard. And a terrifying incident of road rage caught on camera in Southern California, stunned witnesses capturing the mayhem in broad daylight. And could there be a link between anesthesia for pregnant women and postpartum depression? The details and more coming up in the next hour. Stay tuned. Andrea, now back to you.
Lorraine, thanks so much. Lots of information coming up next. But first, when we come back, and welcome back to U News. Another historic attempt. This time, daredevil Nick Walenda tried walking across the Masaya volcano, inching his way over a lake of molten lava. He did it on a wire just a little more than an inch thick. Paola Byron has more. And finally today, check this out. It's a wonderful deed. College students in South Carolina are trying to great effort, and he is now expressing his gratitude. So far, they have raised approximately $17,000 of their $75,000 goal. So best of luck there. That's all the time that we have, but stay tuned for much more in hour 2.